What's up? How you doing, 12? Boy, I tell ya. Excuse me. The energy has shifted by about 85 degrees since I came out here and sat down. Temperature's cooled off. It's so cool because different trees, I'm starting to be able to differentiate what trees make what sound. I'm dialing in, but I don't know, it very well could rain. I don't know what it's supposed to do. Who knows, but for the sake of the football widows, I thought I would do this little tidbit. Pre-production, top notch. It's gonna be a little more Heyoka. It's such a neat word to look at in my mind. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. I've talked about it before in other videos. In the shell of a nut, it's a wise clown. Basically, I'm pretty freaking obnoxious. I'll do anything, even if it is obnoxious, in order to get my point across. So, and usually I succeed. Sometimes I fail, but usually I succeed. So, the first thing I want to do is I would like you... Look, do I look like a teacher? What would you do if I was your kid's teacher? You'd be stoked, because kids love me. Anyway, what I'd like you to ask you to do first is to consider for a little bit your belief system. Everything that you believe in wholeheartedly at this point in time. Everything. Just do a quick mental inventory of everything that you believe in. Whether it's unity, family, love, pet rescue, every possible thing that you believe in. Do not put on that list things that you don't believe in, because it's a different frequency. And what I want you to do is I want you to dial in on that frequency of how you feel considering what you believe in. Because what you believe in is basically a summary of who you are. The good stuff and the bad stuff, but for class today, we're going to focus on the good stuff. Even when you're a kid, even that because I remember when I believed in Santa Claus. I heard him on the roof at Grandma's house. We were on a very uncomfortable couch bed, and I heard the bells on the roof. I knew it. I knew it. Every fiber of my being. Anyway. And Christmas miracles, who doesn't believe in those still today? See them all the time. So yeah, now that you have a basis of considering what you believe in, whether it as far as having a faith or a higher power and believing something that is bigger than yourself, I believe in God. I believe God is source. I believe God is a consciousness. I believe we are all connected as a part of that consciousness. I believe that there's more people that have an inkling to that awareness that we're all connected. It's happening more and more. But it doesn't matter if you're Muslim or Christian or Hindi, or Native American, or any of those things. The fact is, all the value systems are the same, is that there's a consciousness that everybody has the ability to attain, and that is Christ consciousness. And I had this conclusion today. It was kind of weird. I had a light bulb moment because I was looking at the word, because I was thinking, because I'm kind of hooked on phonics. I love words, but I always spell them how they pronounce them, how they look in my mind, and as a result, in the eyes of a stellar speller, I am not a good speller. I'm getting better, but I just think it's so weird that people get so particular about how words are spelled when they are just made up sounds that are made up, defined by other sounds that are made up. So who really gets to dictate? So what my epiphany was about today, is, let's go ahead and recap a little bit as to what's happening in the world right now. All the stuff that's going on. Not even politically, because that is not what I'm trying to do. So right now, and the recap I'm going to start from is with the eclipse. Since the eclipse, shortly after. I'll just say that things started going wonky in DC, even more so, and we'll leave it at that. Just to acknowledge it. So, also since then, hurricane. One. Second one's about to hit, third one's right behind it. As a result, floods. Fires all over the West. I really don't know the stats of these. This is kind of a preempted video, so again, you can check out those stats or whatnot, but freaking like a freaking quarter of the country has been burnt, or a fifth at least, in a very short period of time. So fires, the signs of economic rest are just crazy with what all the Social Security numbers that have been stolen, compromised. Freaking don't matter to me. My Social Security number was taken back when I was in basic training. Besides, my credit is so crap now. Fucking you can have my Social Security number, because ain't nobody getting a credit card with it. What else? More economic signs of caution. Gold. People have been privately buying gold up like crazy. Privately, under private names, but big corporation. Gold. China's buying a lot of gold. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the gold world. The Bitcoin has a bunch of stuff, the encryption stuff has a bunch of people on both sides of the fence in itself. Rothschilds are freaking taking all their assets out of the United States. The gray squirrels are coming out to play. That kind of makes you want to wonder. And another thing that I just found out today is that Venezuela is considering, hey gray squirrel, squirrel, is considering saying hasta la vista, dinero, dollar. Because it's so, the U.S. is so whacked that they don't even want to deal with it. They're sitting on a huge oil reserve down there, so I don't think they need our stinking dollars. So what else? I think that's about enough. I think that's pretty much summarizes the craziness as to what's going on. And I wonder what's going on in down in Texas still. Because you know when this crap happens, then freaking something else stupid happens in DC to distract you. So, now what I'm going to do is I want you to consider, go back to remembering your belief system. Run that by the recap of what I was just talking about. And consider some things that might sound real far-fetched, because they are really far-fetched. But also remember what happened to Jesus Christ. I'm not comparing myself to Jesus Christ. I dabble in carpentry. I guess he was more of a journeyman, maybe a master. There's so many differences. I do believe our consciousness is very similar. And I did have this realization today. Is that, I don't know how this is going to work. But when I look at that, I think it's going to be forward. In my mind, being all hooked on phonics, to me that looks like Christ in line with Christ. Crystalline. Our bodies are now physically transforming from carbon base to crystalline base DNA. Scientifically proven. Check out the stats. It's happening. It's going from a 2-strand to like 12 strands. It's crazy. That's why people are starting to come up with all these crazy, brilliant ideas in this frickin', I mean, the YouTube channels about supernatural or spiritual related things are going through the roof right now, and entrepreneurship, everybody has an idea. Well, that's because people are coming closer in line with this consciousness, this crystalline consciousness. Crystals activate. There are all kinds of crystals. I'm not a crystal person. I like rocks, but I'm not a crystal person. Ask somebody that is into crystals, and they can tell you how different crystals activate with different, I mean, it's science. And I didn't do good in chemistry because I didn't care then, but now I care. Maybe I'll go back and look at that. Science is fun! Or I'll just watch the new reading Rainbow Bus thing. Straight people like rainbows too. Buy a t-shirt. Help me be self-supporting in my mission to help me give people the best days of their life ever, whether they know it or not. That's it. It's a really long tagline. Anyway, so crystalline, Christ in line consciousness. And all that is when you want the world around you to be better. Even if it is a result that you might be less comfortable to make the masses comfortable. If you're willing to take one for the team, because you're a good sport. I fucking hate sports. Unless people like to play just for fun. But don't get me started on the NFL. People I love the NFL. I do not. So, consciousness. Christ consciousness. Consider now, if you will. Since the eclipse. Oh, I forgot the solar flares. That's kind of wild. You guys can look at the timeline later, but the last time there were solar flares like this, it was like 2015, it was a couple years ago. It was right before I had a breakup, as a matter of fact. So my world pretty much went upside down. We're cool now. We're great. We were always great friends, first and foremost. So we're back to there. We're solid. So, but still, there was a lot of upheaval. And for these solar flares, I mean, look at the planet. I mean, shit is happening that has never happened before. This is the part that, this is the part that I want you to preface your belief system, because there's some things that you believe in that other people don't believe in, and you got to consider your frame of reference is different than their frame of reference. My frame of reference, I have never met anybody else with a frame of reference like mine. I know a lot of people with very similar frames of reference because they've all grown up in similar environments, but there's, you know, I mean, there's just all kinds that make up in this world. Anyway, there's all different varieties. But the first thing that they've always tried to do to discredit somebody, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, is they try to tell you that you're crazy. Now, the United States treats their emotionally sensitive like they're sick and crazy. Most indigenous tribes in the country, in the rest of the world, not country, they look at them as their soul is, in spirit, is fragmented. So what they do is they collectively come together, usually as a village, and try to heal that person's spirit. They don't put them in, incarcerate them, and pump them full of pills just to see how they're going to react as human guinea pigs for big pharma because of stuff. So it's gross, really, how they treat people that are emotionally sensitive empaths. Really, I identify one. I'm a human lie detector. It's fun that people still try to lie around me. So, yeah, it was a terrible joke, Gray Squirrel, I agree. But, anyway, yeah, so you can't, so there's plenty of people you can't lie around, but what they will do, people will just discredit you, but you're crazy, you're this, you're that, and the other thing. But when you look at all of the stuff that is happening in the world, you know, and you look at, I mean, they've proven already, freaking, I mean, I from Sesame Street and like 3-2-1 Contact, I remember, or Electric Company, they would show controlled detonations. As soon as I saw, because I didn't know, when I was in the Air Force, I didn't know the towers fell until like 10:30 at night, 11:30 at night. It was a long day. And a friend from California told me, because I was on base at Offutt, and we were really busy that day. So I didn't even know what was happening. And then my friend's like, oh, I can't believe the towers fell. It's unbelievable. And when I saw it, I'm like, dude, that was not because the train, because I've seen a lot of documentaries, even before September 11th, with how fortified they are and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I knew then that was a controlled detonation. So, that whole story, you guys can look at that. It's true, it's gross. Uncle Sam has turned into a freaking, you know, these guys that spend freaking billions of dollars in Viagra, and women can't get birth control. It's all about ego and greed. And these guys that are so old that their skin looks like rubber and plastic, that can't get erections, are spinning out of control. So they're doing all this insane stuff because these dudes are the fucking old guys that are like, there's a lot of officers that retire from the military that end up killing themselves because that's all they knew. And they come to the realization that they're just people like everybody else. And they can't deal with that realization. That they aren't these shiny buttons and stuff, that they're just basically been an egomaniac in a system that hasn't mattered and that has been saturated and turned gross, and they were just perpetuated the problem. So a lot of officers get out and freaking that's why the suicide rate is so high. Not to mention post-traumatic stress and all that stuff, but I'm kind of veering off. Alright. They've also proven that that they've been manipulating the weather for freaking years. There was a drought in San Diego in like 1915 or something, and because they call them weather engineers, and they make it rain. They did it in Vietnam to make it rain, to freaking make it hard in the Viet Cong. You see, there's the dude that used to be on the BBC. He has a different show, but the curly-haired dude, he hit the freaking director or something with the top speed show dude. Anyway, he was there's that factory down in, I think it's Harp or something like that. No? But he was down there, and he was like, they freaking shot off these chemicals, carbon monoxide. I'm not gonna try and figure out what the chemicals are. I don't remember what the video is, but shot off the chemicals, and he's like, hey, you know, freaking in a half hour at this point, there's gonna be rain. And he went over there a half hour later, and sure as shit, it was raining. So they can make it rain. They can freaking scrub out all the poor people, because the poor people can't evacuate. What happens if the poor people are misplaced? People forget. What happened to the people in Katrina? People forgot. You know, years later, people still living in trailers that are freaking disgusting and gross. People drown. You don't have to freaking pay for, you know, welfare anymore. That takes care of a bunch of that. So weather's happening. And that's it, you know, and it doesn't, I mean, yeah, there's global warming too, but it's being perpetuated. It's disgusting. But this is the good news. There is good news. The good news is light conquers dark, and we're gonna be okay. Because the heart and frequency of greed will not survive. Because all of the community ideals, we're going back to that. We're already seeing it. People coming together, people banding together, banding with brothers, getting back to grassroots, how things, you know, there's no reason why anybody needs to be starving or hungry in this country at all. Nope. So, as with the sun, it creates solar flares because the negative and positive polarities, they kind of like the same flame dynamic. When two parts of the soul split off, then you meet them, and there's that same. Then you got the runner chaser thing, and then it's a runner chaser, and then no, it's not really. That doesn't exist, and that's a whole nother story in itself. But as above, as same as above is so below. So we get hit with solar flares, and on the Earth, all of this just, you know, it's all polarity. Duality is just basically absolving. There's so many conscious people shifting in consciousness right now, and there's a lot of relationships that are ending, and it's sad, but you just gotta kind of roll with the punches. Because if it is in true design, those relationships will heal. If it is not, they will not. Keep your vibrations high. Stay hydrated. We're all gonna be okay. As long as you keep your heart pure. Just like on the Goonies. Playing the little piano. You gotta keep your heart pure, though. Oh my goodness. My feet caught the leaf. My feet caught the leaf. The crows are, they're talking about rain. So y'all have a good night. Hope you don't have to listen to frickin' stupid football tomorrow. Unless you like it, but I fucking hate it. Oh my god, I would literally rather watch ants. It is so much more entertaining for me to watch bugs. Or even just sit here and twirl a leaf than to watch football. Or worse, you know, baseball. I'd put something in my eye before I had to watch baseball. I'm not kidding. Okay, I am a little. Y'all have a good night. Peace.